Jyrki, I have something for you.
Oh, that's nice.
Some of you might have heard that Jyrki has been the proud owner of an Effekte shirt. And because we had the news today about the branding and so on, obviously you need a new shirt to represent the partnership that we have between Matrix 42 and Kiekko Espoo. So, we have a new shirt for you.
That looks nice because the old one was so dirty already.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, where is the lid?
Oh, there. Oh. Nice.
Yeah, it fits. So that's cool.
Yeah. I also have some tickets for 2 hockey games here. I might be trying to, just sneak out with these 2 myself, but I have heard some rumors that there's a possibility for you to also get some hockey tickets. So please watch out on the next coffee break. There might be something coming your way. But hey, please take it away.
Thank you. And of course, I have heard that there is several nationalities here today. So Kuda, Hurmordu, Guten Tag, wie geht's Ihnen? And that's it about the languages. I will start talking. I will tell a little bit about myself and shortly about the background before I start going there. So I have been working as a head coach quite several years. I think starting 2006, I got my first year in UP Jyväskylä, where I was first as assistant coach and so on. After that, I moved already Espoo, and I got a little bit different kind of experience there because that story went to the bankruptcy after 3 years. So kind of like all kind of things can happen. After that, I went to Pori Asset, where I stayed 2 years. Almost 2 years, because of course I'm a head coach, so I get fired time after time. That's the part of the job. And after that, I have been working basically outside of the Finland, so in basically Russia and China. And those projects were basically together because the Chinese team played in a Russian league. And after that, I went to Austria. And after Austria, I went to France, and before that I have been working also as well in Germany, in Mannheim. So that's one of those biggest organizations in Germany in hockey. But now I will go to that presentation and that part because we have a quite similar situation. So this year, Kiekko Espoo came up from the second league to the top league. So that's one of the things that we have to build everything basically for new. And also it means that we haven't got many players from the old team. And basically we were grabbing players there and there. Some of those guys, they have an Espoo background. Some players are from Sweden. Some players are from Canada. One player is from Denmark. And still also almost all of those Finnish players are coming from the different backgrounds. They come... Some of them have been playing in Sweden, somebody played in Germany. So the situation from that side is a little bit similar than what you have, that you start building a new team or new organization, and you put different kind of cultures together. And I can tell that there will be many challenges coming in front of you. I have already, every day, I feel that I haven't been working as much about all kind of small things and how to get my communication going with with these people because of the backgrounds, those different backgrounds. And it seems that, of course, that maybe you have something in common, but suddenly you will notice that, yes, we have something in common, but we have lots of also those differences, how we think, and and it will always bring some problems. So basically I work with my coaching, and also my coaching stuff is, I don't know them before. So I just jump and start working with them. So there is also also today, before I came here, I talked that we have to be careful about our communication, how we communicate with the players, that we don't get the mixed messages about different topics. But everything how we started is basically thinking about that part, that what is the background of ours? And then keeping the things really simple. that we get something common. And that was basically the starting point. We start our thing basically start of May. So we are really young team basically who has been working together just 4 months. And my idea was that the kind of like we give certain kind of freedom for the people, that we try to use that what the people are bringing to the table by themselves. But at the same time, we have to have some kind of guidelines. And I still think that it's a kind of like we did it in the right way, but at the same time, a kind of like now, especially when there is some difficulties coming. So the difficulty in hockey means that you lose the game. So then the problem will start. If you are winning, then everybody is smiling and they are like a sunshine and there is no problem. But immediately, when you get the goal against, then the system is wrong. It doesn't matter kind of like how the player has played the situation. But that's also because they come from the different background, different clubs, they have played different way. And now one of those things was a kind of like that we have to have something in common. But that background is really important, and also a kind of like the first meeting, I kept it simple. I basically told what I expect. And then we have an introduction that we know, because we haven't got the clue who is there. So a kind of like that guy came from Sweden. Who are you? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a family? Do you have a dog? Whatever. Tell something about yourself. We started from that point. I always start from that point, but it's really kind of like you just get to know that who you work with. So that was the starting point for us. And then, of course, understanding that different kind of environment when the whole team came together, because we have some imports from Canada, they always come a bit later to, for example, Finland. They came start of August. So kind of like then we had an immediately meeting that what we want to be. So kind of like we were talking about that part, that it's not even, because in my mind the values are not the values before you will see those things in everyday life. So kind of like we were basically talking about more that how to do things and what we are. And of course, that's a part what we coaches were thinking, that what kind of players we maybe have and how they fit in our system and what kind of system we are able to build. Because, okay, there is lots of people who know more about that football. So kind of like that's also that it should be that everybody is basically playing the violin or instrument in the same rhythm. And all the time we struggle that more or less. Like the last game was good, game before, but that's funny, we played Friday, it was awful game, we have nothing. We haven't got offensive game, we haven't got defensive game. It felt like that there was a bunch of guys just skating around. Then the coach was a little bit mad and angry. And then I went, for example, it's a good example that I can't draw anything. I can't really draw. So I made a kind of like the simple guys there, stick guys. Then I put there a kind of like the smiley faces and the serious faces, and then I start talking about that, hey guys, this is our team this moment. Somebody is feeling bad because of his performance and he thinks that it's a bad game, it's a wrong style. And then this guy feels happy because he played fine and he thinks that everything is fine. This guy is thinking about that what kind of things are behind the kind of like what my friends are thinking, because I came back from many years of playing outside of Finland, and what they are thinking when I don't play well. So a kind of like the background for those, we humans are like that. We try to find the reasons why things are not going right. But that's why we had that meeting at the start of the season, that we talk about those things, because I knew that will come in front of us. So kind of like then everybody was taking part. We were working as a group and doing things together and thinking about how we are able to win, what we need for winning. And basically that was also the chance for me to use that information, because I wanted that we film it. So kind of like we can always go back that, hey guys, you said that you can't be selfish. So kind of like we can always take the video and start showing that, okay, now you are selfish. You are thinking about yourself. Kind of like, and it's not helping us to achieve something. So those are basically those simple things what we have done. And like I say, the kind of like those mode of operation in my mind, they come values when you see its everyday life automatically. That I don't have to ask it. I don't have to say something that how we behave, how we treat each others, how we play the game, what kind of style or effort we have in our practice. Then it's a value. And then when everybody wants to keep that value there, then it's a good value. And of course, in the organization, like big companies, there is even so much more people, even that you build that value somewhere. If you start asking that, even from the employers, that do you know the values? It's not necessary that they have a clue about those values. I hope that it's not the case of yours, but unfortunately, many times it goes that direction. So, like I said, I basically talk about that part. And then that's one of those big things, like I'm a human person. I really like, my background is that I have been studying psychology and sports and that kind of things, what has modified my way of thinking. And I'm thinking always about the people, that how to get the people to feel that he's in charge about his action. And he's not hiding behind somebody. That things, in my mind, if they come from the free will, it's always good. Because we people, we want to have a kind of like the way to decide about own life. Of course, all people are not like that. That's as well, we have to understand that people are different. But then, like those skills in hockey, we have different kind of players. We have skillful players, we have more hardworking players, the players who hit more to create fear, and then we have to try to find and put those together. And of course, like our lineups has been changing a lot because we played really good exhibition games result-wise. Too good. We didn't go to the limit during those games. And that has basically created a problem for us, that we think that we are really good. We are not bad, but we are not as good as we thought. And that's also a kind of like, it affects a little bit that I heard sometimes a kind of like the players that it's an easy game coming. In the professional world, no easy games. And that's also what I said this morning before we went to the ice. I said to my assistants, I hope that we will have a bad practice. They watched me like, what do you mean? Then we went to the ice, and thank God it was a bad practice. Because the last practice, when we have played badly, they have been good. So they believe that it comes automatically for us. And it's not coming automatically. You always have to do the work and work hard, work wisely to get the good result. But that's a kind of like, that's also how much you understand. We have a different background players. So a kind of like some of those players, they don't have same kind of education about hockey. And like bringing the best out from them, it's not so simple if you force them to do something. So a kind of like that thin ice all the time where we are dancing, a kind of like how to build and how to kind of like create something, but not to mix the players' natural things too much. And then, of course, about everything, there is that big thing about motivation and kind of like there is different, like I think that if I'm taking a players and hockey players there, I think that most of them have a high motivation comparing for everyday work life. They want to achieve something, they want to be good. That's the one of those things. But still, there is a big gaps between the humans' motivation, even in our team. Some players are going somewhere. They get the new chance, new possibility to create a great career, for example. And at the same time, they make some money. It's not as big money as in football, but you are able to build some rock houses. So it's a not bad job, especially because it has been maybe your hobby at the same time. But we come to the communication, just shortly, that how to communicate with the different kind of people and what is the good communication. Like all the time we people talk about the communication, but in my mind, the main thing is that we understand each other. At the start, I already said my assistant that let's try to ask the questions, what you mean, and what you think about this. And still also our communication should come better, but that's also, we have been working 4 months. Things will happen slowly, even that every day we are in that small cabin of ours and we see each others and we laugh with each others, but there is always, because everybody wants the good things for our team, but then we have certain responsibility areas, and it's so easy to say something wrong to somebody, what mixing his mind, kind of like the other guy said that, and the other guy said this. So I kind of like what I should do. So it's, and everybody has a good purpose. It's not the question about that. It's just the kind of like that everybody has to understand first in the coaches locker, kind of like to understand each others and what we mean. And this moment I try to keep things so simple, which is basically, it's a big challenge to keep things simple, that they are so simple that everybody understands what I mean and what I expect from them. Of course, the background, it's those goals. And the result, my mind, it comes from a kind of like the good actions. So kind of like when first we have to play well, and then there is of course different kind of goals like the group dynamics. I expected us to be something in the future. And that's the kind of like, I always use this word that like if I want to go from Helsinki to Oulu, I should have some kind of plan to go there. I can make something, for example, I go to Kouvola, so it's not on the trip, but I can always come back if I do the mistake. So that's a little bit same kind of trip what we are heading this moment, and we have also the result-wise we have a goals. We have a 60 games. We break it in 10 periods. We didn't achieve our first goal. It was 9 points. We got 8. So we try to follow that result, and then when we don't get the result, we have to change something or we keep going. But it could be that we make a kind of like that responsibility, that because the goals, in my mind, we put them there just because that we achieve those. And there is some prizes for boys also, of course, kind of like if they achieve those things. And then the surprises. That's unbelievable how many surprises I have got. For example, I feel that I'm surprised about every day. Like that, now we are good, like Friday, that we were awful, and suddenly next day we are on fire. So kind of like, think about that your employers or this company is going like boom, boom. But of course, that's the one big difference, that we measure our result this week just twice, next week 3 times. So kind of like, it's quite quick. Everything comes, even I'm thinking always when I'm on the office people, I think that they are so slow. But they just work 8 to 4. That's understandable. I work all the time, the Sundays. I can't remember when I had the last free day. Every day there is something, kind of like, then if there's nothing, then we have a meeting. And I call the meeting, how dumb I am. So, but then, like that's human mind, basically how it also works. It goes so easily that we start building excuses. I didn't know that. I haven't got the clue. I had a whatever. My cat had a diary. So that's also how easily it goes, that because we are humans. And that's, in my mind, it's in the human nature that, because it's hard to be honest even to yourself. Of course, we talk about honesty, we talk about those things, and still where I'm heading to, I would like to teach them a kind of like that they are able to grow as a person as well. So those things are like the part in my mind what are really important. And then just shortly about the solutions, kind of like all the time, like I said, I try to keep things simple. that everybody understands that. Today also, then I talk with my captain crew that, hey guys, if I make it too hard, come and say that to me. If I make it too simple, come and talk to me. So, but that's also, it's important that people, they have to kind of like respond for that responsibility of what I give for them. And that's why we watch videos in a certain moments. I just saw it kind of like, this is basically the first meeting what we had. My expectation, team rules, and there was 3 rules. 3 rules. If you are sick, if you have problems, call to me. No broken phones. You are never late, but if you are late, again, you call to the head coach. And basically everything comes to me, that even the kind of like the assistant don't get the information and they forgot to tell me, and then it's their fault because it should be the player's fault. So a kind of like really simple, and then we introduce us. That was basically the whole story, how we started on May. After that, of course, we have done, like I told you, many different kind of things. I'm running already over time, 58 seconds. So now if there is a questions or something coming, it's nice to have somebody else here. Because those lights are so bright, I can't see you.
Sorry, we're a little bit slower than your colleagues.
Yeah.
First, thank you very much, Jyrki.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, now that the live stream has ended and you know, we are still being filmed, but not live, so there is a possibility to clean up if anything funny happens. Now I would like to give the audience a chance to ask Jyrki any questions that you might have. So please don't be shy.
Ice hockey enthusiasts?
Anybody who would
Over
like
there.
to...
Over there, we have a question.
Sometimes I've heard that a coach can lose the locker room. How do you handle that?
I think that I haven't ever lost the locker room. I have lost kind of like the owner's trust rather than the player's trust. I try to always work with the players the way that it's fair. I respect them. I'm demanding, of course. That's my job, to demand and bring them to the different level or help them to go there. I'm not doing that. I'm not able to change somebody. They have to be, but I'm able to support that action, and if they are willing to do things. But I think that it can happen when, for example, that if you have values in your team and you don't respect those values by yourself. So then there is, of course, it's not working anymore. So basically, if you lose the trust, kind of like, or you are too demanding in the wrong spot, but that's also that players, they're humans, they forgive you if you do mistakes, for example. It's everybody understand that part. But I think that's, for me, when I get fired, it's a kind of like a problem with the management most of the time.
And hey, now that you mentioned, and thank you for the question, the locker room, I need to ask, just between you and me, what happens in the locker room just before going out to the game?
There is not much going on, really. It's, because usually everything what we do, it's a kind of like, also today, we have run all of the meetings, for example. So kind of like everything should be clear, and then we give the time for the players just to concentrate and get the feeling and get those emotions going and get the body going for the game. So, but of course, today there will be a little bit different kind of event, because one famous news reporter got retired, I think yesterday, and he's coming in our locker room to say the starting lineup.
Oh,
so
cool.
Kind of like that's a little bit different. Today players want it, and his son is playing our team as well. So I don't know, is that mixing his game or not? He don't have a clue about the situation.
Sounds so cool. All right. Hey,
All right.
I think it's time to thank you for joining us today. And a lot of luck to the games. Are you allowed to say good luck?
Yeah, I take all the luck happily with me.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you, Jyrki.
Thank you very much, Jyrki Aho.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.